It's your Khan. G'day, how's it going? You're with the Khan. So at the beginning of the month, I kind of went a little bit bonkers with a little thing called August Victories. Now, for those of you who've been with me for a while, you'd remember that this August marks the 1 year anniversary since your Khan had to do something he never thought he'd do, which is take mental health leave from work. And I mean, I know that sounds surprising, but it's true. I had come off the back of basically being Boromir, just taking arrow after arrow and then collapsing. And it was just hit after hit. Like, you know, my workplace decided they were going to sell off to another provider. Had the ongoing pandemic blues. And on a personal note, I lost one of my people I care about. One of my residents passed away who actually broke out and came to my wedding, which was pretty baller. So it was a really tough time, and basically it all just mounted up on me and come off the back of 3 months of getting abused by a fellow staff member. So it was a lot of stuff happening all at once. So I took leave and just worked on myself. I just hobbied and hung out with my little boy and had a great time and built myself back up. I even wrote about it last year, link in the description. So what is August Victories? Well, I sort of was plodding along and then realised, holy shit, it's been a year. It's been a full-on year since that happened. So I looked at what I've changed about myself and what I, think should be doing, and I wanted to mark the occasion because August is also the greatest victory I've ever had, which is the birth of my son, which I got to actively take part in. If you want my thoughts on that, I'll put the link in the description of this one as well. There's going to be a lot of links in the description. But hey, that's kind of leading into what I'm talking about. Acknowledging your victories. I think there's something I've noticed more and more, and you could go into the pseudo bullshit about why this stuff happens, but the truth is that we're not really in a place at the moment where we are conditioned to pay attention to our victories. We're on the back of the umpteenth year of the, to borrow a good phrase I heard, the Coco Vovo from Dan Unsupervised, the endless pandemic that always never seems to end. Remember, guys, it's going to get seasonal. Yeah, problem is a season shouldn't last 365 days. But anyway. And then we go onto social media, which everyone is doom scrolling and going through and everything's terrible. You got wars in Europe, you got inflation, you got all this stuff, and it's enough to make anyone lose their mind. And in that, you basically have this situation where people are negatively gearing themselves down. And I play a bit of a boastful sort of fella, bit of a boastful bloke, but the truth is, I think you have to be a little bit. I think you have to, boost yourself up, because in your head right now, to get a little bit, philosophical, there is this court case going on in your head right now, almost every single day, with a prosecutor and a defense lawyer in your head arguing about your ego and about your id, so how you see yourself. And you need positive pieces of evidence. You need that. So the little lawyer inside your head can jump up and scream, objection, and throw that information out, throw that evidence to the court to support why you're not such a terrible person. And I thought, coming into August, with the fact that I've had to work on this stuff, that it would be a good sort of habit to get into, dare I say tradition, because I love my traditions. Everyone knows me, knows that I mark every 16th with flowers for my wife. And I have since we first started dating. That was like 7 years ago now. The thing that I would like is the power of tradition, the power of things like this. But celebrated every August. So August Victories, hashtag August Victories, will be something I do every year. I would like it to continue throughout the entire 365. So how do you do it? So how does the Khanate do this? We'll call this a Khan's decree, if you will. But whenever you see something online, you have the ability to help that person make that a victory. You just hit that little retweet button or that share button. You go in, you give it a favourite, you like it, you leave a comment on it. Now, I'm not talking about me, I'm talking about anyone in the Carnate, you know? I love to retweet people's stuff. I love to give that person a dopamine hit, you know? And it sounds tiny, but I think sometimes that's what you need in your life. You need those small victories. Because at the end of the day, those small victories become larger confidence. Confidence is the sum total of success. And I don't care whether that's something small like, hey, 10 people liked my painting job. Or it's something major like, hey, I just got a new job, you know? And I mean, I've just come off the back of saying like, oh, well, I'll rebuild myself a little bit. So even recently, I just became a fire safety officer, which is an internationally recognized course. Boo me. By the way, guys, do look at your house on a side note, and do look and see if you got the stuff you need in a fire. I've just finished retrofitting my house up and bringing it up to code. That little aside, I want the Carnate to be a fact-finding, evidence-building, sharing, and across-the-board supportive thing. And we will celebrate this every August, but I want to practice it every day. So that's what August Victories was all about. That's where my mentality is. This is what I want us to do moving forward, is to go out, find things we like, share those things, quote tweet, add a thing on top of it, share it, send that person a comment, let them know you think that what they're doing is awesome. Because despite all the drama and the hubbub and the blah, 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 you know, that's out there on the quote unquote hobby community, there are a lot of good stuff. There are a lot of good artists. There are a lot of good people out there, and they deserve a bit of a boost. And I don't care whether they have 10 followers or 10 million followers. If you see something that's awesome, share that shit out. Because what you're doing is hopefully bringing something a bit brighter to the community, to the Carnate, to that person's life. I really feel like that's what we need to be doing. And that's what August Victories is about. Because it helps each other and it helps ourselves. I want people happier. I want people having that wealth of knowledge. So any time, and all that evidence, and any time that little prosecutor jumps up and goes, no, objection, this person is shit, I want to be able to hand down the largest body of evidence you can to smack that little bitch into the ground. Because I don't want people thinking they're not good. I want them going around smiling, and I want them going around happy. Because at the end of the day, that's what we all need. Just some thoughts, you know. And a little bit about August Victories also. I also used it as a springboard this August to motivate myself to make a bit more content. So Lunch Hammer might get a bit interesting because I'm going to start making little videos on my lunch break. So hopefully you'll see a bit more content. Anyway, think about it, go forth, and, you know, add something to somebody else's day. Let's see what we can do. Anyway, that's it. Have a good day from the Khan.